Welcome to the video on HR interview questions and answers for experienced candidates. I'm We provide all the type of resources you would require to prepare for your technical or non-technical interviews. We also help candidates find a right place for themselves in the corporate world. Now, every interview has an element of some common and some surprise questions, which can baffle you badly if you go unprepared. If you are a working professional looking out for a job switch, this video is what you require to crack your interview. Okay, so before we start with the questions, it is very important for you to understand what does a potential employer try to see in the prospective employee. Interviewers are also human beings like you and me. So apart from how your core skills have grown, they try to judge some very common human elements like common sense, management skills, communication skills, and dependability, to name a few. So the biggest mantra to succeed at any interview is come across as a human being who is competent and pleasant to work with. Okay, so let's begin with the questions now. Question number 1. Tell me something about yourself. This is the most frequently asked first question at interviews. And if you hear it at your interview too, feel blessed because this is a truly magical question. This single question has a tremendous power to let you steer the interview in the direction you want. The only requirement is good preparation. And the trick is put the full stop at the right place. But I must alert you, if you show up unprepared, you will struggle to say anything relevant after 20 to 30 seconds and you would land up wasting this golden opportunity. So you would ask me, what are the things you should include in your 1 minute to 90-second speech for this question? Number 1. Talk a bit about your current role. This could be the major responsibilities you shoulder. Talk a bit about your some professional achievements, a bit about your background, and lastly, why are you here today? A sample answer to this could be something like, I possess a 10 years of industry experience. Since last 4 years, I'm working in the world of education and career, helping the fresh graduates and experienced professionals develop their core and soft skills. Prior to that, I've worked in the field of PR and communication, dealing with the national and international media for various technical publishers. I possess an MBA in marketing and have been a columnist in major dailies for last 2 years. Being associated with the publishing industry since a long time, I know what learners want. So I can play a very active role in the development and promotion of innovative training modules as you require for this position. So you see how comfortably you have put across yourself as a strong contender for the role with this introduction. The next question. Why do you want to leave your present job? The reasons for switching that job could be numerous. Maybe you don't like your profile or you do not get well along with your boss. But the best answer to offer for this question is to just say for better prospects. These better prospects can be in terms of growth, experience, exposure, or environment. Make sure that you never badmouth your current or past employer in an interview. Question number 3. What makes you interested in this job? During the various interviews I have conducted for my own company and our clients, I have heard candidates talking about the exposure and the challenges this role would offer to them. But I have to tell you here, all that the employer is interested in right now is your skills, because that is the only thing which is going to get him results. So I would suggest keep the challenges and everything that you would get aside for some time. Just talk about his interests. Focus your answer on how your skills, experience, and personal qualities fit into the requirements of this particular position. And trust me, you are done. The next question. Why should we hire you? Through our Ask Us section, we receive a lot of interview related queries every day from our readers. And this is the most frequently asked one. So I decided to include it in the video, and here is the solution. There are various ways to ask a question. Interpret this one as, what are your relevant strengths for this role? The employer at the moment is ready to buy all the relevant skills and qualities you have to offer. The only requirement is you should know them yourself to be able to sell them. So I'll teach you a small exercise here which you must perform before going to any interview. Number 1, analyze the requirements of the job. Number 2, make a list of specified and unspecified skills required to perform the job. Number 3, make a list of the skills and qualities you possess. Now compare the two lists. Everything that matches is the reason for the employer to hire you. You might see a difference in what is expected and what you possess, but that is always going to be the case. Don't worry about that. We are going to learn how to deal with these differences in the video ahead. Question number 5. If you were recruiting someone for this role, what qualities would you look for? In their interview experiences, some of our readers reported this question also being asked to them. So I must tell you that this is another way of checking your understanding of the role. After you answer the previous question in the way I suggested, the interviewer would not ask you this question. But yes, there's a probability of him skipping the last one and asking this. So all that you need to answer this one correctly is the homework you did for the last question, where we learned the exercise to find your strengths. Analyze the requirements of the role carefully and make a list of all the major skills required to deliver them. Now show him how you fit into those requirements. If there's any doubt, you can go to the previous question and learn the exercise carefully again. The next one. You seem to be working with the same company since a long time. Why? This question is asked to those candidates who haven't switched the job since many years. Staying with the same company for too long may be considered as a lack of ambition in the candidate. So the best way to put this negative thought to rest is by showing the employer how you were adding value to yourself being with the same company. Discuss the different kinds of assignments you handled, their importance to the company, and how they helped you grow. A model answer to this question could be something like, yes, you are right. I have stayed with my current employer for 8 years now, but during this period, I have worked on different kinds of assignments. Being an old employee, I know the business pretty well, which empowers me to take up the new tasks quite easily. In the last 6 years, the company has grown many folds, needing various new things to be done. And I am my manager's go-to guy to streamline their execution. But now, I think it is the time for me to move on, as I have achieved whatever I could have with them. Question number 7. You do not have all the experience we are seeking for this position. Okay, I promised you in question number 5 that I'll teach you how to deal with the difference in the expectations of the employer and your possessions. So here it comes. First of all, you must know it is difficult to find someone who has all the required experience. Whenever you switch a job, you would definitely be doing something new. So tell yourself that this question is not a red flag, and now you are better prepared to answer it. Tell the interviewer, yes, I did notice the difference while studying the job requirements and skills required to deliver them. I see that I possess the major 75 to 80% of the skills, but for the remaining 20-25%, I can quickly pick them up as I have done in my earlier roles. Now, offer them an example from your past role where you were required to perform something absolutely new and how you learned and delivered it successfully. The next one. How did you manage to attend this interview during your work hours? Trust me, this question will come to you as a big surprise if you are not prepared, and you would land up saying something that you don't really mean. So let me tell you, some of the interviewers do ask this question, especially to the junior level employees and the sales professionals. And all that they want to see is how you deal with it. The interviewer knows that you must not have asked for a permission from the current employer to attend this interview. So, what did you do? Did you come to the interview faking it to be a customer call? Or did you take a leave? Or anything else? This question is a check of your integrity level as well. Question number 9. Would you like to work in a team or on your own? The agenda behind this question is to assess if you are a team player or a solo performer. In any role that you take up, there can be times when you will be required to work in a team, while at others you will be required to work independently. And you should be prepared to work in both the situations. A good answer to this question can be something like, I can adjust very well in a team, but if required to work alone with more responsibility on some project, I can handle that also very effectively. Question number 10. If your last boss was present here, what do you think he would tell us about you? Not many, but some of our readers have shared this question also in their interview experiences submitted to the website. So here I'm getting it to you because if you are unprepared, this again can come as a surprise to you and you might not be able to immediately understand how to answer it. A good way to answer this question is to pick up some formal appraisal your boss gave you and say that I think he would repeat it here. The next question. Did you face any problems in your last role? If you possess years of work experience and say that you have never faced any problem in your last roles, you would be lying. But at the same time, you would be scared to share your experience as you may feel that it will cost you the opportunity. Now, if you try to look at it from the other side of the table, you would see that with this question, the interviewer is actually trying to understand the role you played in that problem. Were you the one who caused it or were you the one who solved it? So pick an incident from one of your last roles and show the employer how you solved the problem. For example, you can say something like, last year, all of a sudden we noticed that there was a rise in the time that our customer service executives were spending on solving the delivery related issues for our products from a particular area. Being the delivery lead, it reflected badly on my and my team's performance. While trying to establish the reason, we realized that the delivery status on our website was getting wrongly updated. On further investigation, we realized that a batch of newly appointed delivery agents in an area were not following the protocol as they had not understood it well. Once we got to the root of the problem, we immediately coordinated with the training department and organized a training session for this batch. The result was an immediate fall in the customer service calls. Was your work ever criticized? What did you do? The two very important qualities in a successful professional are self-awareness and acceptance. It is your self-awareness that tells you what you did was right or wrong. If someone is criticizing my work, does it really need an improvement? And if it does, then am I ready to take the required action? The purpose of this question is to see how do you handle criticism. If you have been in such a situation, you can tell a bit about it and then focus your answer on how you handled it. If you have never been in such a situation, you can say that though you have not been in such a situation, you know that it is important to not lose your cool when someone criticizes you and improve your work. You don't seem to have led in your past role. How would you be able to do it here? This question will arise when you are trying to move into a little senior role. No one leads the team from day one, but there do occur incidences in your professional life where you play the lead role in some or the other activity. If you know how to do the work, are well organized, possess some common sense and leadership qualities, you can lead a team. To answer this question, you can say that, yes, formally I do not have a leadership designation, but I know the nitty-gritties of this role well. I'm quite well organized and have led small projects for my team. Given an opportunity, I would be able to discharge my duties effectively. Now going further, you can quote some examples from your professional life to back up your claims. The next question: what would you do if one of your team members ceases to perform? This question is actually a check of your managerial skills. The key here is the word ceases, which means that this team member was performing earlier. So you can say something like, if a member ceases to perform, there has to be a reason. I'll try to find that out and address it. The very next question after this could be, if you face a problem with your own performance, what would you do? Through this question, the interviewer tries to find out if you can see problems with your own performance or not. This is again a situation where self-awareness plays a key role. If I'm performing bad, am I able to realize that? Am I able to establish the causes? And am I able to take the corrective actions? Everybody has the ability to find out the mistakes with other people's performance. But what's more important to grow in professional life is to realize your own shortcomings and take the required actions. So to answer a question like this, you can say something like, if I face a problem with my own performance, I'll try to establish the reasons and sort them out. Now, there can be some small questions as well. For example, how would you classify your style of management? One style of management would not suit all the situations. So you can say that your style of management is situational. The next one could be, how would you describe your work style? Ultimately, what is important to survive in the corporate world is a good performance. So you can say that your work style is performance oriented. Most of the interviewers will find it convincing. Question number 18. Have you ever worked under pressure? Pressure is an inseparable part of business. However, it can take different forms. At times, it will be the pressure of improving your own performance, while at others, it could be the pressure of meeting the deadlines. The purpose of this question is to see how do you handle that pressure. So mainly talk about what do you do to not fall a victim to the pressure and let your focus get diluted. So you can talk a bit about things like drawing a proper plan to meet the expectations, prioritizing the right activities, starting and finishing them till end, and staying dedicated to the final outcome. If you think a particular task should be done in a particular way and the other person thinks that it should be done in another way, what would you do to resolve the conflict? This is not a very frequently asked question, but yes, with the changing trend, the interviewers these days are asking more situation based questions. You would see that some of our readers have reported this question also in their interview experiences shared on our site. The purpose of this question is actually to check your level of acceptance and adamancy. You would agree that there can be different approaches to do a particular work, and at times the solution suggested by someone else might actually be better than yours. And in such a situation, it is more important that you evaluate each of them and pick the better one. So if you are faced with this question, you can say something like, I understand that there could be more than one approaches to do a particular work. And if I am faced with a situation as quoted by you, I'll evaluate both the solutions and take up the one which is right and will get the results faster. The next question. What are your weaknesses? If you are watching this video, it means you already have some practical experience of life and work. And you know quite well that every human being has got some weaknesses. And it is absolutely okay for you to also have some. What is more important is the actions you are taking to improve upon those weaknesses. Remember, I said at the beginning of this video, the interviewers are also human beings. They are trying to check some human elements in you during the interview. So until and unless you give out some weakness that has a direct impact on the performance, the interviewer won't be much bothered. So here's a small exercise that will help you prepare a good answer to this question. Number 1, sit and think for some time and make a list of all your weaknesses. Now see which of them has a direct impact on the performance. Cross this one out. Now select 2 or 3 weaknesses out of the ones you are left with. These are the ones you would mention if this question comes up. As you talk about a weakness, also explain what actions you are taking to get over it. For example, if feeling stressed is your weakness, you can say something like, when the deadlines are approaching and a lot of work is still pending, I start feeling overwhelmed. This increases my stress levels. But over the last some projects, I have been practicing some good time management and planning exercises, which help me in keeping much more relaxed. I divide the tasks into smaller subtasks, prioritize them, and deal with one thing at a time. This helps me in staying focused and deliver better. Apart from this, I have also learned some stress management tricks which I am trying to practice. Although it is a work in progress, but has helped me phenomenally. Question number 21. What is your expected salary? Now that we are dealing with this topic of HR interview, it means you are talking to the HR people with the prospective employer already. While answering this question, don't jump at a figure immediately. Try to turn the ball back into the interviewer's court and ask him the type of salary the company offers for a position like this. Maybe you can get some hint of what they have on mind and take it ahead from there. But yes, there can be times when you have to be the first one to spell out a figure. And for that to happen, you have to be really prepared. You must know the industry trend and what does that particular company offer. From my experience, I have seen that when you can't avoid the question, offer a range based on your research and expectation. But just don't keep the range too broad. Otherwise, you will be offered something towards the lower end. For example, if you are looking at something around 55K, probably you can say, based on my work experience, expertise, and current market trend, I'm looking at something in the range of mid 50s. The last question. Do you want to ask us anything? Conducting an interview is a time consuming job. And trust me, when the interviewers find the right candidate, even they feel elated. Many candidates believe that asking the questions is a sign of being impolite. But no, it is not. Asking the right questions, in fact, is a strong sign of being the right candidate. Just ensure that you do not start interrogating the interviewer or land up asking too many questions. There has to be a right balance depending on the situation. The questions would actually depend on the level of position you are interviewing for. If you are interviewing for middle level positions, you can ask things like, what are the growth prospects for me to grow in the company? Do you have any concerns about my candidacy? Or something related to the team in that department? And still simple, when can I expect to hear back? However, if you are interviewing for higher level positions, you need to research their operations very well so that you can actually ask something intelligent enough. If the company or the industry has been in news in the last some days, that can give you a good start. Find out why they were in news, what is the impact of that news on the company or the industry as a whole, and draft it into a question. So we have come to the end of this video. If it benefited you, do give us a thumbs up and share it with your friends. To stay updated with the latest interview happenings, do subscribe to our channel. If you have any questions, send them in the comment box below and we'll definitely answer them for you. Thank you. See you in the next video.